everyone. I'm feeling like just making a video today for like one of the Cult of Pedagogy posts. So I was interested in a lot of them, and I'm super excited to explore this website more. One of the ones that I picked was a podcast called uh, "How We Pronounce Student Names and Why It Matters." This one really stuck out to me because my name was frequently mispronounced, mostly my last name. Uh, Even though I had an older brother in the same school system, a lot of teachers and some of the principals still mispronounced my name. So I wrote it down, and I'm realizing that it's backwards now. You can kind of see it. It's spelled Chonoles. Chonoles is how it's pronounced. My grandfather would say the CH is like the CH in chemistry to help people. But I would get Chonoles, cannolis, just I probably even weirder ones. My one of the assistant principals in an awards ceremony at the beginning of my senior year, he was told just before he read my name how to pronounce my last name, and he still mispronounced it. And I just didn't. He had been there all 4 years that I was in high school and all 4 years that my brother was in high school. So it was something that I could let go most of the time, but it's still something that kind of frustrates me. Like I'm fine if you get it wrong the first try, but after I've told you how to correct it, you really should make a better effort to get it right. Um, so I definitely really connected to that. But it's also important to me because I think in respecting diversity and identity, you really need to make an effort as a teacher, as a leader, and a person that student should look up to. You should really try to show them that you're thinking about them and wanting to respect who they are and where they come from, and what they choose to call themselves. In some cases, I think that's really important. Uh, so what I learned, some of it was just reinforcement, kind of from my own experience, uh, because I had that experience of people constantly mispronouncing my last name. I think that I'm usually very good about not just glazing over, and not just arrogantly mispronouncing it. I think I at least try to be a calibrator, as she called it, and make an effort to listen to students, and really try and get that pronunciation right and apologize when I don't get it and just keep making an effort. Um, I really thought that it was important what she emphasized on just trying to get it right, even if it's difficult for you, just making that effort and not giving up on it. Students obviously notice when you don't get their name right. So I think it's silly to pretend that they just won't hear it or get used to it. And I think it's rude to hope that they'll get used to it. I think that's unfair to ask of them. Uh, and I just really appreciate what she said about making this effort is just emphasizing to each student that they should feel important and valued, and like they are you see them as worth um, getting their name right, they are a part of the community, so you're going to get their name right. And I think it's really important, and I think this is something that I would imagine that teachers struggled with, is just humbling yourself to admit this mistake of, oh, I'm so sorry, and moving past it and getting on. I think that she's right that you don't want to make it too big of a deal for students, because that can make students feel like weirded out, singled out, uncomfortable in so many ways, or that it's their fault in some way. And in some ways, I'm thinking about students who are transgender, and if you mess up their pronouns or mess up their name, um, and you become overly apologetic, they can feel like it's their fault, and that's not fair either. So I think just apologizing and making an effort to get it right the next time, is really what it's all about. I just think just creating an open community-centered space in your classroom is just a really big part of that, so that students feel like they can correct you if you mispronounce their name or say, hey, I want to be called this instead. Yeah, I think that that's really key. I also really liked the idea, and something that I want to keep in mind as a teacher is let's talk about it after class so I can get it. And just modeling, making that student feel like you're valuing them, as well as modeling for all students how to approach somebody with an unfamiliar name, not to just brush it off as, oh, that's weird, but to make an effort to value that person for who they are and to want to get their name right. I think we try to get celebrities' names right all the time, even though they may be different from ours, but why can't we do that with our own students? And I think that it's important to show students that. I'm also super excited to play with the Hear Names website. I thought that was a really cool tool. I feel like it's not the same as talking with the students, so maybe I would do that with my roster before school started and kind of keep notes to myself on how I feel pretty confidently that it might be pronounced, and just be willing to change it after speaking with the student. But I think it's a great first tool. All right, I have been going on for 6 minutes, and I think that I've talked about all that I can. I think really it's just about taking the time to show students that you care about them and that you value them, having them in your class, by admitting when you make a mistake and just really trying to rectify that mistake. Yeah. All right. That's it. Bye.